It is 1-0 Atlanta Braves tonight as you join us here on Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. It just so happened it was Whit Merrifield with a triple off Zach Wheeler, and then he scored the run for the Braves to take the lead. We will put up where you can find us, where you can join us. We'll have some words from our sponsors. We'll be back to talk about this game.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Now that you have grabbed your Planet Jerky, whatever flavor it is you think is the best, the show is going to roll on. If you don't have that Planet Jerky, make sure you go to planetjerky.net. Get yourself some right now. Bobby, not a good start here in Atlanta.
Well, the most predictable outcome ever happened. Whit Merrifield hit a triple, like you said, or in the opening. You know, what comes to mind is if that was the other way around and Whit Merrifield was on the Phillies playing the Braves and Zach Wheeler was pitching, you wouldn't have been playing tonight. If Rob Thompson was the manager, he would have been on the bench mean, it's no doubt about it that would have been the outcome. He would have had like Cal Stevenson or another guy that doesn't belong out there playing. But the Braves just throw out Whit Merrifield. It wasn't a shot, it was an opposite field, I guess, loop really that made it rolled. And what are you gonna do? It's the Phillies. It's 100 and how many years of misery? 141 years. Is that right?
Yeah, and
31 years. No, 1883.
It's
141. 2 World Series.
the old saying, "Misery loves company." Well, I'm not so sure. And it just
Kyle Schwarber in 1883 was a
Kyle Schwarber's batted
Series.
twice. Kyle Schwarber's batted twice. He struck out twice. So
did Harper.
yeah.
And Ronaldo Lopez is a guy that's a journeyman pitcher that they just what's he throwing those down and away sliders? I mean sinkers they can't hit. Is that his big pitch?
This is a Braves team that looks very different than what they expected to look like at this point with the injuries and everything. But I made the joke yesterday. I mean, just take 25 guys from the stands and put Braves uniforms on them. They'll beat the Phillies 2 out of 3. They might actually sweep the Phillies. I mean, this is.
I was just going to say that if I could sign up for 2 out of 3, I'll take it. That way we play 3 games and only lose one game in the standings.
Yeah, and I know right now in the top of the 4th, it's only 1-0, but it seems like they're down 5 or 6-0 at this point. And
yeah,
I was hoping to come on and either have the game be tie or have maybe the Phillies have a lead and then be able to talk about some other things that have gone on. Their last homestand 4-2. It was okay, I guess, 4-2. I mean, it was the Marlins. It was the Nationals. My only problem is it was both games started by a Walker that they lost. Who could have seen that coming?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, go to Sunday and everybody's up in arms about not pinch hitting in the 9th inning with Harper and Realmuto and Thompson, saying he wanted to give them the day off. I get it both ways. He wanted to give them the day. I heard one guy call in. He said, if you're going to give him the day, don't even have him come to the ballpark. Have him stay home, right? He's not available, Harper. Why have him dress up in uniform, come to the dugout? That's not really a day off. What would have hurt him to go up there and take 3 swings? Would that have killed him?
Yeah, you would think if he was there, he would have taken some swings earlier in batting practice. I mean, yeah, right. on Sunday – against the closer for the Nationals, I would have had Harper come in and bat in the 9th inning. JT, no, he would have struck out.
Yeah,
not saying Harper would have come through either, because it seems like that little stretch he's had of kind of getting out of that slump, he's back into it.
Yeah, he's been a streaky hitter this year. Not the consistent hitter he's been throughout.
He doesn't have a hit against the Braves this year.
He never does. What did he do in the playoffs last year? Nothing, right? No, it was that last series. Remember that last series?
That was a couple years ago. He
was 0 for 10.
I mean, he's picked it up some in the playoffs. I mean, he's had a ton of at-bats and has a lot of home runs at this park. And in his career, a lot of at-bats against the Braves. But so I look up now. It's top 4, 2-on with 1 out. JT's up, so he'll either strike out or hit into a double play. I mean, and if people are following on a game tracker or something like that, they may be a little bit ahead of us to know exactly what's going on. It's almost September, so sure I would think the idea wouldn't be about resting guys for going forward, unless, I mean, you got to win as many games here as you can. I mean, the division isn't over. I mean, I would say it should be, but you have a lot of games against division teams coming.
Well, we got 7 against the Braves in the next 10 days. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a tough.
Days?
It's a tough 13 games because then you mix in Kansas City and Houston. It's not going to be an easy thing.
Nope.
And maybe JT tied the game up. Good for him.
Yeah, I just hear the base hit now.
Yeah, 1-1.
Kansas City's got probably the best young player in the game, Bobby Witt Jr. I have not seen him play yet, so I'm looking forward to watching him.
He had a decent series last year in Philadelphia, so I would
He's
expect.
hitting 350.
I would expect about the same. I guess one thing that's good. It looks like Turner is kind of back to getting on base and out of that slump that
Not
he
getting
was,
on base, getting hits.
Yes,
He doesn't get on base unless he gets a hit. He's only walked like 20 times. I mean,
correct.
his on base percentage is terrible. But he's a guy that's actually competing for a batting title. Once he gets the eligible at bats, I think he'll be right. He'll be right there with Luis Arraez.
Yeah, and he was so bad recently. The manager had to take him out of the lineup for a day. I mean, that kind of gave him a kick in the butt. The way it looks, but still, the thing I always go back to, because I just mentioned it, I just have no faith in Rob Thompson. I just don't. I mean, I look at a guy who 30 years in baseball, and he just fell into this position because Joe Girardi showed himself to be a fraud.
Yeah, and Thompson was there. So
yeah, I mean, he was just there, and the team, as we said before, with this payroll over the luxury tax and things, they eventually got themselves a few years ago straightened out with playing some lesser teams, and it just looked like it was the change from Girardi to Thompson that made the difference. But I mean,
you see the standings going by on the bottom of the screen. Another 7 days is going by. 124 games in. Both teams have played 124. The Phillies have a 7-game lead on the Braves and a 9-game lead on the Mets, or 8.5-game lead on the Mets.
What's
all we need, right? We need the weeks to keep going by and us maintain this lead.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, I don't know, because as a fan, I look at it game to game, moment to moment, and I admit to being over the top with it as well. I don't know if they're already. I mean, it seems like it from what Thompson said over the weekend. They're already looking forward to what's going to take place in October, and
right.
Boy,
he doesn't care. He doesn't care about these games. But what he's doing is possibly making us have to play an extra round. Is what he's doing.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Playing an extra round means an extra chance to be eliminated, but
right.
we don't have any relevant evidence to go on about the Phillies winning the division to see what happens if they have that time off.
No, I mean it happens. It seems every year that whoever gets that bye gets eliminated in the second round. At least one of the teams. I mean, it's been the Phillies eliminating the Braves the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, and unfortunately, what happened last year with Arizona, who's going to be another problem, I think, going forward. It's going to be Arizona or some team that's close. I mean, I don't want to say the Reds because I wouldn't say it's going to be them, but just hypothetically, a team like the Reds, if they start playing well mid-September, rolling into the playoffs, I mean, you can look at them being like the Phillies were 2 years ago. A team like that. I'm not saying it's going to be the Reds.
Well, if it is, for example, Hunter Green has been the second best pitcher in baseball in the second half next to Paul Skeens, who's also begun to drop off a little bit. Skeens, he hasn't been as dominant the last few times out.
No, and I think
starting to see him better.
No, and that was probably expected, given the fact that his workload, and everything. But he's going to be a good one for the Yankees in a couple years.
Yeah,
that's just how I see it. He'll probably be on the Yankees.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the Braves look like they're going to get out of the inning with only giving up 1 run.
I went out today and took some swings. I went down to the baseball field. It was such a nice day out. Figured get out. We were talking, hitting, and I haven't hit the ball in so long. You want to go out there and just swing as hard as you can, right? So something clicks in my mind. I remember seeing Mike Schmidt on the MLB Network when he was in the studio. And I pulled up the video on my phone. And he just talks about swing easy. Go up there and swing easy. So I'm like, let me try it. I went up there and swung easy, hit one almost to the fence. I mean, it's amazing how true it is. You don't have to swing hard. You just have to swing, just let it flow. He said he did that his second year in the minors. He said, and that's when everything came to him. That's when his whole baseball life changed. He said it was in that bat against Pedro Borbon. Remember that name?
Oh, I do, and it is. You're right. You're right. It is. It's doing the fundamentals, making contact, and not trying to swing for the fence. And who knows? I mean, you're not trying to hit that home run. Next thing you know, you've hit one.
I mean, how is a guy like Schmidt not in coaching? You know, how does a team not have him as a special assistant or hitting instructor?
It's a good question. I mean, I think it's probably something to ask him because
he doesn't want to.
Yeah, he just might not want to do it. I mean, I don't know, with the family situation or wants to be out on the golf course or
he's happy doing a Philly Sunday. 20 times a year.
True.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody, that's joined us on the chat. Ralph, Jen, Marcus, Taryn, appreciate you all and your well wishes for tonight. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, and it's interesting the time slot that we have, and it's been this way ever since we've been on. This is show 176 for us. Wow, 176. I mean, we come on, and most weeks there's a game going on at this time. Whether it's the Phillies, and then when you get into the fall and the winter, it's the Sixers and the Flyers.
Won't be long. Sixers will be here soon.
Is it?
And the Eagles.
I don't think I was paying attention as close as I should have. Is it a situation? Is the NBA season because of the Olympics starting late?
Is the NBA season starting late because of the Olympics?
Because the Olympics is.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I saw that about. It's going to start a little late.
I think.
I think it's already later. The schedule was already made, though.
Yeah, I know, and I didn't take notice to the date and everything, whether that was going to be a later start. And we can have the staff pull that up when the season starts and when the Flyers start. So, well, we got 1-1, bottom of the fourth, and
that's the first time I ever got to see staff's reaction when staff was called upon.
We have one of the best staffs at IE Sports Radio for sure.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, without question. There was some news today from the Eagles camp that was a little concerning. Back injury for Saquon Barkley.
Oh boy, that's the first I'm hearing of it. And
he was taken into the tent, and a little bit of work needed done. In my mind, if the report came that Saquon Barkley broke a nail, I'd be concerned.
Well, I mean, when you sign him, I think you understand that he's not going to play 17 games. I think there's no shot at that happening. I think you might have him for 10, 11 games if you're lucky. And that's why I feel that Will Shipley is going to have a big part in this team's offense.
I agree with you.
I'm excited about it. I think he can bring a lot. The guy can catch the ball. He always gets that extra yard. He always falls forward. Doesn't fumble. So, I mean, on paper, he's everything you want. He could be our, all-purpose, Danny Woodhead type of player. Danny Woodhead.
And from a lot of guys who report, who are there at camp regularly, it seems like everything they say is very positive for how the camp's going that Jalen Hurts is having. Does that translate into the season? I don't know.
No, what I think it tells me more and more that the defense sucks.
The other side of the ball is not doing their job. Yeah, that's an issue as well.
Isn't that a problem if they haven't gotten an interception against their own quarterback, who they know the tendencies of? What are they going to do against good quarterbacks, and they play a bunch of them?
They're going to give up 37 to 42 points a game. What's
that tell you?
It's probably what's going to happen.
What's that tell you? Bet the over. Bet the over in every Eagles game.
Yeah, and they'll end up 10-3 the moment I do that. Yeah, and that brings the question is, we'll have to wait and see with the new coordinators, with new players on offense, and what's going to happen if the team is going to be a team where they have to get 30 points a game. Can they do it? And if they do, can they sustain it? I mean, I can't tell anything from preseason what they can and can't do.
No, they haven't played.
No, and it's almost like what in the back of my mind it's going to take. I mean, I hope they go to Brazil and steamroll the Packers, but I don't think you can take too much away from that one. Either way, I mean, if the Eagles win that game 42-10, okay. Well, is it just because where the game was and the preparation and everything, or if they lose 42-10, is it the same thing? Or if they lose 30-29, I don't know if you're going to be able to take a whole lot away from that game. So it's just one less game at the link is an issue.
Right. Well, we'll get into that and a whole bunch more. But we have to take a break.
We'll be
right
back.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome to the 305, aka the Magic City, and this is Magic City Scoreboard. I'm your host JB, and right here we're gonna talk anything Miami. Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes, Marlins, Panthers, Inter Miami, and even high school football. So join me once a week right here on Magic City Scoreboard on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed to all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. This is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris. And as you listen to those ads there, IE Sports Radio has got you covered sport to sport, city to city. If you're not checking out IE Sports Radio on a daily basis, you're definitely missing out. And hey, let me just say something real quick. It's back to school time, and we're getting into the fall, which is my favorite time of the year. People having some parties for back to school, people having some Halloween parties, autumn, fall parties, looking into Thanksgiving. If you're sending out invitations, make sure you check out Seal the Deal Wax Seals on Instagram and also at IE Sports Radio. Check out Seal the Deal Wax Seals when you send out those invitations. Give it that little extra special touch. Bobby, we finished talking about the Eagles before the break. We were talking about them, and yeah, like you said, it's rolling on. School's starting. The NFL season will be here, and I'm ready for that Friday night game for the first time.
Me too. I mean, I actually said that today. I said if you go outside, you can finally feel that crisp, cool. It felt like football weather. It does right now. Actually, I got the windows open, and it has that smell. Pretty soon, the leaves will start falling, and it's going to be football time.
Yeah, I mean, here in town, the high school football team is home Friday night. I mean, that's just wow. I know. It's like I said, school starts tomorrow, and the games start Friday night. So ready to go. Yeah, with it being a very small school, it's interesting to see how the team will be this year because everybody has a position on offense, defense, and special teams from the way it looks. So
a whole bunch of what is it? Chuck Bednareks.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been back and forth some to the school, and I've seen them out there practicing. So it's that kind of Hoosiers reminder where, well,
Right.
the last thing we can do is get tired. My team is not going to be tired. There's only 5 of us,
Right.
as he said.
We're 25 minutes in. We got 53 people in the room watching us.
Awesome.
Thank you. Share it with somebody. Send, go on our Twitter. I got there's my Twitter on the screen at BobbyCash215 at ChrisAmo717. There's our show's Twitter. Get on there, repost, share, get some people on your.
Yeah, and talk to us.
Sports.
Talk to us all you want back and forth on Twitter, and you can give us your opinion, and also you can tell us just how wrong we are. Actually, it's X, right? I'm going to call it.
You can jump right on the
Twitter.
comment.
I'm going
you
to call
can
it Twitter forever.
You can comment right here as well.
Yep. What would you just speaking of that, what would you say is the over under on a date to when he goes back to being Twitter? I say end of the year.
I don't think he can. He'd have to buy the name back, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I've seen that. I've seen that talked about.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work, but
The Sixers.
I'm sure he has the money.
The 76ers play the Bucks in Philadelphia on October 23rd. That's the start of the season.
That's pushed back. That's like a week later than last year.
Yeah, and that's something we talked about where they always have Milwaukee early. So, but it'll be interesting in some of these practices, some of these preseason games for the Sixers because it's a new look Sixers this year.
Yeah, they picked up another guy, Gershon Yabusele, former Boston Celtic end of the bench guy who shined in the Olympics and had that dunk over LeBron James. They signed him for $2.1 million. You can't go wrong. If he produces, good. If he doesn't, you didn't expect much anyway. So,
yeah, well, that's an extra backup center, power forward.
Yeah, and this year, unlike other years, you got a decent point guard coming off the bench. You got Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson can run an offense. He's won a championship. Him,
Maxey, Kyle Lowry. So it's it'll be interesting. And with the addition of Paul George and the biggest subtraction of Tobias Harris. I mean, now Tobias Harris will be an all-star with Detroit. It's probably what will happen.
25 points a game, 10 rebounds.
Right, and especially against the Sixers, it'll be triple double. Yeah, you're right. That's
no doubt about it.
That's probably how that'll work. But I guess in a way because it's the second year for Nick Nurse, and then like we're saying, it's a new look Sixers. So that's refreshing. Is it going to be a team with the new look that's good enough to overtake Boston and New York? I mean,
They would need some divine intervention. They would need Boston to have some bad luck. They would have to have Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum go down. That's the only way we're passing them. They haven't lost anybody.
And if that would happen, they'd fill in with some guy you never heard of, and all of a sudden he'd just fill right in and just pick up what was going on. Because I saw a lot of predictions for the Sixers, and a lot of people are saying 50 wins. That's
doable, sure.
Yeah. If healthy, it should be. And when you said the guy they picked up from France, I'm sorry, I haven't got to pronouncing that name yet.
Gershon Yabusele.
Yeah, and if things go like we saw last year, where games against inferior teams and even against some good teams, if Embiid's not playing in the third quarter, that's a good thing. So he'll be able to get some playing time as well.
Yeah, definitely. Harper just struck out for the third time tonight.
Yeah, not bringing it here against the
right pitcher. I don't get it. Must not see him well.
Well, yeah, it's not the reincarnation of Tom Glavine out there in his best years out there throwing. And with Wheeler pitching tonight, I mean it's Wheeler Nola Sanchez, right?
Wheeler Nola Sanchez, yeah.
Yes, it's.
And they say if barring any setbacks, Ranger Suarez is set to start Saturday against the Royals.
Yeah, it's almost been an afterthought with him. There was, because I guess how close Taijuan Walker was to coming back, Ranger kind of got pushed into the background, but hopefully his back's okay.
So what happens when he comes back? Who goes?
Well, let's see. It would just all of a sudden fall back to where it was.
Walker would be the 5, and they wouldn't have to go with a Phillips type guy.
Yeah, because Phillips got sent out, And with the days off that they had, the other guy who they had called up, they didn't need to use him because they had a couple of days off here, so they could set their pitching. I mean, I'm sure one of those days, what was that guy's name they called up? Who got us?
Colby Ulrich.
Yeah. He got a starter too. I could see him getting another one here in this 13 game stretch, or the dreaded opener with Ryan Kerkering out there on the mound. But I wanted to mention our old buddy Hector Neris was released. He got the old DFA today, and you look at it. He got it from the Cubs, and you look at it. His numbers weren't bad. But look, Bobby, tell me if you ever heard this before. His numbers weren't bad, but the optics were bad, and he would lose in situations where he shouldn't.
Yeah, that pretty much explains every Phillies reliever.
Well, yeah, and that was the thing with Hector Neris when even before we going back over the years and everything, it was like, well, look at the guy's numbers. I mean, and he's got to be a guy who he's not a closer. You got to find the right role. Look at his numbers and everything. And it wasn't that. It was the same thing with Sir Anthony Dominguez. I mean,
yeah,
he could put up some okay numbers, but what happened last night? He came in, tie game on the road, brought the closer in late, and he gave up the home run. And that was what we used to.
A double. He's going to hit for the cycle tonight.
Yeah, I know it. I mean, right now I want to apologize to everybody in Philadelphia. It's my fault because I didn't put anything on Whit Merrifield to succeed tonight. Had I done that, I would have shut him down.
0 for 4, 0 for 5.
Yeah, exactly. That would have shut him down. So Sunday it rained in Michigan, and that dreaded Monday 11 a.m. race. No.
Yeah. How was it? I didn't see it.
No, and I didn't see a whole lot of it either, and it wasn't. It was exactly what we saw on Sunday from what I saw on Monday until the very end, where a few cautions had come out. Yeah, and a win for Tyler Reddick. I mean, like you said, it was funny. You look up and you see that McDonald's car, you think it's Bubba Wallace going.
I know. I watched it on NASCAR's X site, and I saw it. I said, "Wow, Wallace won," because he had that great pass where he passed those two cars the day on Sunday. You see that?
Yes.
He had the momentum coming off the turn. He flew by them, and cleared them. And, wow, this car has some horsepower in it. So I thought maybe he had a shot. I did like Keselowski. He was there all day. He always runs good there. You could put him in a Honda Civic, and he would run good at Michigan.
Yeah, true.
That's one of the tracks he just loves. Yeah, I can't really analyze the race because of this continuous refusal to make changes with their schedule. If they see rain coming, start the race at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
Yeah, and that's got to be a thing where if you're going to the race, I mean, you have to. I would say it's probably easier to get there earlier on a Sunday than it is to stay over on a Monday.
Yeah, a lot of the crowd gets there early anyway. They tailgate, and they're already in the infield in their trailer. I mean, there's the crowd's there. It's a party, so they're there, Friday to Sunday night. That's like a big event in a lot of towns. Yeah,
and Daytona this week.
Yeah. I can't. Nope. Our 3.5 years on the show, I've never made a prediction at Daytona or Talladega. Put the ball in a hat, pull one out.
It's very difficult. And the one thing I wanted to mention, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but Carson Husselver has been really good. He's a guy to keep an eye on. If he can get himself with a good car and things, I think he's going to be a driver of the future.
Yeah, and he doesn't get not much time at all mentioned on TV. I mean, I know him from Truck Series. That's where I found him, and they do that with the guys that come up there. They kind of ignore them and don't really hype them up at all. But like you said, he's a talented driver. I wouldn't be surprised if he does some big things. I mean, Ty Gibbs just keeps getting close.
He's one of these weeks.
He's going to break through one of these weeks.
One of these weeks. The one thing that was interesting, though, because I really didn't pay that much attention to this, I guess, in the past, but when they went to a situation under caution, when they went to situations under rain delay and things like that, I mean, because usually when that happens, especially on a Sunday, there's a ball game to flip to, whether it's football or baseball or something else. But they were explaining the rules and what you can and can't do with the car and fixing things and also, I mean, that was a little bit interesting because I really hadn't. I guess that kind of just slipped my mind that, oh yeah, you really can't make. And the reason being is Denny had a problem early.
Right. And yeah, there's so many rules. It's crazy. I wish they would take on some of the rules from the Indy cars. I really would. I mean, if they do it right, I feel like when they have cautions, they don't stop the race. You know, they do local.
And I don't see it being a hindrance to the drivers or to the way that the sport is run. I just don't. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, they have the 5-minute rule on the repair. Like, why? If they take 10 minutes, who cares? They're not winning anyway. They're only going back out there to run laps. I mean, it's just for points. It's not going to make a big difference unless there's a big crash and 15, 20 cars go out and then, they gain all those spots. But, they've gotten out of hand with the rules and speeding on the pit road. And
on the good side here and also on the bad side, we haven't talked much about what's going on in the Phillies Braves game. So because it's 1-1, so nothing good happening on the Phillies end, but also nothing bad happening except it
feels like a playoff game. That's the way those playoff games always are in Atlanta. They stay low, and the Phillies will break through for like 3 in the 7th. Atlanta will get 2 back. They're always close. I was going to say barn burners.
Yeah, and this is one where when you get into the bullpens, you have to just see how each manager is able to manage tonight. And like we said, Whit Merrifield has turned into Joe DiMaggio, and
he's hitting a home run. He'll hit the game-winning home run.
It wouldn't shock me if he did. And what you said earlier, just to me might be true that Hector Neris might end up in Atlanta.
Or my other thought was the Orioles are probably already putting a claim in for him.
Oh yeah, an ex-Phillies reliever.
We have to have him. He's a former Philly.
Well, 8:53 here, and as we come to the close, I do have one top 10 for tonight, and this will be more. I think this top 10.
New rules. We have to take another break.
Another break? I apologize. We'll do the top 10 after the break.
You got to read that show sheet.
I apologize. I'm getting used to this format.
We'll do 2 minutes of commercials, and we'll be right back. IE Sports Radio.
Top 10 will close us out.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you at the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly, every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We'll hit a top 10 here to close down the show. And Bobby, what I came up with for this week is related to the Phillies, and it is the top 10 worst Phillies acquisitions of all time. And when I say of all time, I didn't go back more than maybe mid-'80s, and most of it's recent. Just bad acquisitions. And we'll get some conversation here to end the show.
I love the disclaimer at the bottom of the screen.
That's right. These views are the opinion of Chris Amos and not those of IE Sports Radio, and not necessarily Bobby Cash as well.
Okay. Well, join us on the comment board. You can also throw some on there. Top 10 worst acquisitions. We're doing mid-season and off-season, of course, right?
Correct.
Okay. And result-based, or did they have to play?
Yeah. It's just more, result based. I mean, all these guys played
or didn't play, because Danny Tartabull's the first one I think of.
Well, he's number one.
Okay.
Right, exactly. I mean, 7 at bats is playing.
Okay, Gregory Soto.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I didn't say this going forward. Gregory Soto is correct, but I have nobody on here who's a current player. But okay. Gregory Soto is absolutely correct. I mean, the people who contacted us from Detroit were right about that.
So no current players. Wow, that makes it harder. Craig Kimbrell was my next one.
Yeah.
Lance Parrish.
Yes, sir. Lance Parrish is number 4.
Okay. Let's think here. Pitchers. There's a lot of them.
There is.
Jeez, give me some clues here.
Former Cy Young winner from the Cubs.
Oh yeah, of course. Muscle
Jake
Man.
Jake Arrieta.
Arrieta.
He's number 3 on my list. And then a guy who ended up, I believe, he ended up getting a ring with the Phillies was Adam Eaton. What a horrible acquisition he was. Oh my goodness.
Didn't the Phillies, if I'm not mistaken, sign Brett Saberhagen?
I don't know if I don't remember him pitching for the Phillies.
The staff.
The staff will have to look into that. Yeah, as we're closing it, but we can go into some of this more next week. But just see if some of these names, and I'll get your quick reaction to them. Number 10, David Phelps.
Wow, I would not have thought of David Phelps.
Oh my goodness, he was really good everywhere else. The Braves have taken the lead off Zach Wheeler.
I hear it.
Marcell Ozuna with the home run.
They chased the starter. Ronaldo Lopez is no longer in the game.
Yeah, but they can't score. And here another guy I have here, number 9, hard hitting, but it's hard hitting.
Mark Whitten.
Yeah,
Mark Whitten hit 3 home runs in a game.
He did, and then one of the Phillies pitchers did that too. He hit 2 and had like 9 RBIs. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Robert Person.
Robert Person is who did it. How about this one who came over from Pittsburgh? Andy Van Slyke was
wow, slick Van Slyke. He did absolutely nothing here.
And then I have some pictures here. You'll love this. Just to close out, David Hale.
Oh, never. Yeah,
I mean, he was Joe Girardi's favorite. This guy also, who was really good elsewhere, Aaron Harang.
Yeah. He wasn't good elsewhere. He was a guy he was one of those innings eaters.
Yeah, he was good. He had a good season or two, I think, with the Reds. But yeah, he just was awful. Jurius Familia is. You
just said Aaron Harang because you know his brother, right?
I do know his brother. I do know his brother.
Yeah, Familia is definitely one. I mean, Philly they flat out knocked him out of baseball. I mean, he was done after leaving here.
Yeah, he tried to make a comeback with the A's, and it didn't work there. So if it didn't work there, it was over. Everyone who's joined us on the chat board, thank you. Everyone who listens to us going forward, thank you. It's IE Sports Radio. It's your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris. I'm Chris Amos. Bobby, any final words?
No, just hope the Phillies get one of these 3 games. That's all. That's the best you could hope for.
Yeah, I wish we were leaving on a better note with the Phillies ahead, but it's the Braves who are ahead, and tough schedule for the Phillies.
Yes,
More
sir.
Eagles camp. We'll break everything down next week. We'll be back here same time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.